I had a very unique hunting permission today. This actually, as you can see, is a burnt house. It belonged to a farmer when I was little tyke, and he was a really nice guy. He let me and my cousin actually go fishing at a little pond behind his place full of bullheads. Man, we catch bullheads 50, 70 at a time. Now his house is gone. The farmer has passed away. The farm sold to another farmer who didn't use the house, so it became dilapidated. And the scorch marks you see on the wall here is a consequence of the fire department actually using the house. The new landowner let the fire department practice on the house, so they'd set it on fire and put it out. There was a family that lived here. There was joy and sadness and life. It's just all gone now, but in its new life, it's a tool to hopefully save some lives of firemen. So it's a bittersweet thing to see this, and if I'm going to take away a message here, it would be life is too short to be a dick. We're all going to be burned down houses someday. I really wasn't expecting to wax poetic. You turn that camera on, off you go. You never know what's gonna come out. Alright, very sorry for that. What was that, like 2 minutes of incoherent rambling to you guys who just came here to watch something die. There's a lot of sick people in this world. Well, let's go up to that bathroom and shoot some pigeons out the window. The day starts off strong. Here's our first bird. This one's on the top of the silo, and I'm holding for 8 inches of wind. I aim at mid-body for these pigeons. Now I'm shooting a .25 caliber here. And this pellet hits exactly where I want. Straight through the clockwork of this bird, and he tumbles off the back side of the silo. On my second shot, I keep the scope at 10x magnification. It looks a little bit closer because the camera is actually zoomed in more. I lose some field of view when I do this, but I do gain a little more precision, so it's a bit of a trade-off. And this shot is a strange one. The pellet hits the main bone in the bird's wing, and you can see it deflect off in front of the bird. So it didn't actually pass through the bird. It hit that bone and then kind of cut the corner in front of it, taking a few feathers off its chest. Luckily for me, it's clear here that the pellet did in fact completely shatter that bone. The bird comes down right away, just to the right hand side of the silo, and I'm able to take a very quick follow-up shot. And you can see on this follow-up shot, I'm holding for less wind than there was on the silo. That is because only about 20 of this 60-70 yards really needs to be doped for, because the rest of that distance is completely blocked by the 2 large barns off to the left. Kind of an odd day today. It's like overcast sunlight. Wind is blowing anywhere between 10 and up to 25, sometimes gusts of 30 miles an hour, so it's pretty crazy. And that's why I opted for the .25 cal today. This is the Bobcat .25 caliber. You guys know that this is quickly becoming my favorite gun. A .22 has plenty of energy to whack a pigeon at 100 yards. You've seen me do it before. But .25 caliber pellet is much more forgiving in this high wind, and the way it's blowing, I'm gonna need all the forgiveness I can get today. Did I mention it was springtime? In this shot, I take out the male, who is very enthusiastically courting the female here. The male is the large brown one doing the circles. The shot hit him like a ton of bricks, snapped his neck, and you can tell that that happens because their tail does that huge fan out. You also know that the shot is absolutely lethal and the bird will be dead before he hits the ground. Now you may have noticed that I'm doping for much less wind when I'm shooting off the point of the barn versus the silo. Reason for that is the wind is about 90 degrees to the silo. So when I shoot, my pellet is taking on the full push of that wind. But when I'm shooting back at the point of the barn, I'm doping for less wind despite it being a longer distance because my angle to the wind has changed. So what you can expect for push at the point of the barn is about 1/2 of what it is at the top of the silo. So for those of you hitting about the high school age, this will make sense to you shortly when you're in trigonometry. I think 10th, 11th grade, somewhere in there. Some of you guys get it done sooner. Good for you. Don't get cocky. And this shot was a good one. Again, hit him almost exactly where I wanted, maybe just a little bit off. And it looks like the bird's gonna fly away, but I've seen this before. Watch how his flapping suddenly just loses steam, and it looks like he's just kind of lazily flapping his wings as he goes down here off to the left. I've seen this before, and so have you. It was in my pigeon hunting in the wind video about 2 years ago. This is what happens when you give them a lethal shot through the lungs, likely clipping an artery, but didn't actually get their heart. It just takes an extra ½ second for the batteries to run out. Here's the only starling I saw today, and I missed him. I've been used to aiming on larger birds all day long, and this shot just tracks a little bit high right over top of them. I think I might have given him a small haircut here. And he actually sets off a string of bad luck for the next 2 shots. Both of them passed millimeters in front of the pigeon's eyes. I don't like missing, but if I am going to miss, this is how I want to miss. Now this is my second wing shot of the day. This one did hit the bird a little harder than that first one did, but still it wasn't enough to kill him. He tumbles off the end of the barn and runs straight into the main doors. So you know what this means. Broken wing. Didn't get him like I wanted. We're going mobile. Okay, I do want to talk about that shot just for a second. He happened to be in a really good spot for me to take that follow-up shot. You saw that silage material. I knew that that's a safe place to shoot into. From experience, I know I can put a pellet in there and it's not coming out. You notice that crosshairs were above the pigeon's head. This is because the shot was only about, I guessed it to be about 6 or 7 yards, which means I needed to hold over about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. So know your gun at every range, because at some point, you're probably gonna need to. Okay, I'm gonna go pick him up, return to my crow's nest. Now, back up to the silo. Wind had picked back up, so I'm doping a little more. Still, I placed my shot just a tiny bit left of where I wanted it. Shot was still lethal. It hit him hard enough and did enough damage to bring him down about 50 yards away from the silos. But look really closely at all these bits and pieces falling out of this bird as he flies away. What this is that the shot actually tore through the bird's crop. The crop is where the food is stored. They gulp a bunch of food down, hold it in the crop, and then release the food to the gizzard where it's ground up with the pebbles that they eat. This was the last bird I saw of the day, and this is how I like to end a day. And this shot is just so pretty. I take him with a completely clean kill right in the neck. Just like when I shot that brown pigeon a few shots ago, this guy gets hit in the neck and the exact same thing happens to his tail. It fans out in that exact same fashion. Alright, it's been 45 minutes and I haven't seen a bird in that time. I think they've had quite enough of me for one day. I'm gonna go collect my birds, head home and clean them up. So no, this wasn't my best day, but given how challenging the conditions were and the fact that I left no wounded birds in the field, I'm definitely declaring this day a victory. And now that we have 6 birds on this trip, well I shot 7, but Kitty got 1, I'm going to take my 6 birds and I'm going to show you guys how I make what I think is a very delicious pigeon pie. That'll be up in a few weeks. In between there, I want to show you guys the power of adjustable scope mounts. So that's actually what's coming up next. Thank you for watching, my friends, and I'll see you at the next video.